Frankly, we knew that fraud occurs and there's warning signs that come with it, and they were ignored in this case.
According to investigators, the schemes involved bogus receipts and invoices for meal programs, housing assistance, and behavioral health services, charging the state millions for services that were never provided.
I hear they ripped off Somalians, ripped off that state for billions of dollars.
The president lashed out at Minnesota's Somali community during Tuesday's cabinet meeting at the White House, saying he doesn't want them in the country and called them garbage.
I think it's a beautiful country.
Jamal Osman, who moved from Somalia to Minnesota when he was 14, is a naturalized U.S. citizen and a member of the Minneapolis City Council.
Anyone who looks like me are scared right now.
Hello everyone, welcome. Hi, if you don't know me, my name is Chaida and I'm a Black conservative commentator and writer. And this is my podcast where I discuss relevant issues surrounding people, society, culture, and politics. I'm so happy that you are here to join me today, and I hope that something from this episode really resonate with you. So today I'm going to be talking about the scandal that's happening over in the state of Minnesota. But before I get right into that, I want to share a scripture that I found in Deuteronomy in chapter 10. And it says here in verse 17, it says, "For the Lord your God is God of gods and Lord of lords, the great God, mighty and awesome, who shows no partiality and accepts no bribes. He defends the cause of the fatherless and the widow, and loves the foreigner residing among you, giving them food and clothing. And you are to love those who are foreigners, for you yourselves were foreigners in Egypt." Oftentimes, when you look at politics, the left likes to throw "love thy neighbor" or "love thy foreigners" at us and accuses us conservatives of being anti-immigrant. Being for secure borders, being for mass deportation does not mean that we do not love foreigners, that we do not love our fellow neighbors around the world. And matter of fact, it's quite the opposite. If we love our neighbors, we wouldn't push for lawlessness funneling into our country. Because without any borders, we don't have any sovereignty. And without sovereignty, we don't have a country, meaning that we are living in an uncivilized community, hence chaos. Secure borders does mean loving our neighbors. Secure borders bring order. It brings structure. It brings civilized society. And most importantly, it brings peace. So in this day, in this climate, a lot of people are just so like to throw out that we're so anti-immigrant and that we're so anti-foreigner, when in matter of fact it is just the opposite of the case. Well, but now that we've gotten that out the way, let's focus on Minnesota. Minnesota is known for its cold winters, but today we're going to be talking about one of the hottest scandals that the country has seen in recent years. A massive fraud ring, millions in taxpayer dollars, luxury cars, private homes, and fake meal programs that never fed a single child. The truth is behind the Minnesota feeding our future scandal and how the government failure allowed corruption to explode. In 2020 and 2021, Minnesota saw a massive surge in federal funding intended to feed children during the pandemic. The program was supposed to help kids in need, and especially in underserved communities. But instead, federal investigators uncovered a $250 million fraud scheme, one of the largest of its kind in U.S. history. Fake meal sites were created, fake children were listed, fake meal counts were submitted, and real federal money poured in millions at a time. What were the funding being spent on? Not meals, not children, not community support. Instead, it was spent on luxury cars, luxury homes, high-end cars, overseas real estate, and extravagant personal spending. And it's also been reported that it was also some of the money was sent over to Al Qaeda, which is a known terrorist group. And if that sounds familiar, you look up September 11. Many of the individuals charged or indicted were connected through community networks within Minnesota's East African diaspora, particularly within the Somali American community. But let's be clear, this scandal is about corruption. It's about individuals who exploited a system with weak oversight and not an entire community. The real story isn't the background of the people involved, it's the scale of the fraud. It's the government's failure that allowed it to grow. The scandal exposed major weaknesses inside the Minnesota Department of Education, the agency responsible for approving and monitoring the feeding sites. Red flags were everywhere. Dozens of new meal sites popping up overnight, suspiciously high meal counts, paperwork that didn't add up, millions being sent out with minimal verification. When federal agents finally stepped in, the public learned the truth. Dozens of people charged, assets were seized, and the state had to confront what it had ignored for too long. Minnesota's leaders tried to distance themselves, point fingers, and pretend this was a shock. But the reality is simple. Government oversight failed. Taxpayer money was stolen, and the people who were supposed to be served, children in need, got nothing. Minnesota's Feeding Our Future scandal is one of the clearest examples of why accountability matters and why Americans deserve leaders who protect taxpayer dollars instead of watching them disappear. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was organized fraud that went unchecked because the system was designed to be exploited. And until we start demanding accountabilities, stories like this will just keep happening. So, Governor Tim Walz is a fraud. He is. And he should resign and step down. I also think Representative Omar should step down as well, and she should resign. Because these are people who are very well anti-American. And you cannot claim that you care about the American people, that you care about the American life, and be this fraudulent and be so anti-American. This is why I thank God every day that President Kamala Harris did not come to be. I pray that we did not get a Harris, and I'm thanking God that we did not get a Harris administration, because Tim Walz, he obviously let this go on for so long, and he did not allow he is obviously not for accountability. And when it comes to the bureaucracy, when it comes to these different government agencies, there's very little oversight. And that's why for us conservatives, that's why we preach on smaller government. We need to really limit how government spends our taxpayer dollars. Because something like this shouldn't have been able to happen. And if you love this, if you are for, frauding our systems and sending money to foreign countries that do not need it and funding terrorist groups, then this is not the country for you. This is not the channel for you. So going forward, I pray that we get more answers for this. I also pray that we have specific leaders step down when they show that they cannot be trusted with American taxpayers' dollars. So I hope that this resonate with you guys as it did with me. And if you found something in this episode that really resonate with you, I really hope that you will share it and let me know. So be sure to hit like, subscribe, and join in on the comments and join in on this conversation with me, because this really shouldn't be a one-sided conversation. I really want to get other people's input as well. So thank you very much for joining me. I'll see you next time. Love you always. Bye. Back again. Wow, you're amazing. Please be sure to give today's episode a thumbs up and leave a comment. If you are new here, subscribe so you can stay tuned for more episodes. Want to get to know me a little bit more? You should follow me on social media. I provide the links to all my social media platforms in the description of each podcast episode. Did today really resonated with you? Then you'll even love my deeper dives on my Substack. So please be sure to check it out when you can. Always remember, stay rooted in truth, stand firm in grace. And always remember, this is her time, this is her marathon.